You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks again for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Hello, I'm Stephen Willis, host of the Locked On Ole Miss podcast, and I'm joined by Daylan Flowers. He has the Daylan Show. He's an Ole Miss student, and he has takes on Ole Miss sports. How you doing, Daylan?
I'm doing well, man. Pretty busy right now, but all is well on my end. Can't complain. Happy Grove Bowl week, everybody.
Yes, and we're almost done with spring football, even though, I don't even know if we can call this Grove Bowl week, but whatever. We'll get on that in just a second. But spring practice thoughts as a general, the one thing that we can take away from spring practice this year is Trey Amos and Trey Harris is the must-see TV of the spring. The school is promoting that. That tells me that when we actually have the Grove Bowl game, 7-on-7 or not, they need to make sure that Trey Harris and Trey Amos are on different teams, right?
I 100% agree, man. I think our social media team has done a fantastic job since the season has ended with kind of giving the fans a good element of what's going on behind closed doors. And those two, of course, as we've seen on social media a lot recently, have been going at it head to head. And deservedly so. I mean, you come here to play against the best, and I think that's why Trey Amos came here this year, and I think that's why Trey Harris came here last year, because they knew what was a part of this team and what is a part of this conference. And I'm excited, man. Of course, Trey I think submitted himself as one of the best receivers in the country last year with his dynamic deep ball ability to go up and catch anything on anybody, and honestly his tackle breaking ability as well. But Trey Amos, I think he comes into Oxford with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. I think a lot of people are still trying to wonder how good he can be and if he can be really elite. And I think he's coming in with that mindset that I have to prove a lot of people wrong, that I'm really one of the best corners in the country. And I think that attachment that him and Trey have kind of gotten this past spring is really important, because I think it's going to bring out the best of them when the season comes. And I think they're going to be ready for any situation. So I'm excited. I think they both have a lot of different tangibles that can help us on both sides of the ball, of course, pretty well. I'm excited to see the O-line really. I think John Garrison has done a great job recruiting on that part of the ball. And I think that was a thing that a lot of people questioned, especially at the start of last season. And I think we got it together going towards the Vandy game last year. And now with, moves at the running back position and stuff like that, I'm very excited to see where Diego Pounds is going. I know he's kind of had a little bit of an injury bug, so hopefully we can get him healthy fully. I'm excited to see Nate Kalepo and just what he can bring. His footwork and his intangibles to help protect our quarterback. So I'm excited about a lot of different realms, man. This football team has come together really well. I don't think like I said a few weeks, I don't think we're done yet. But I'm just excited to be a part of this, be able to see this team kind of mesh into a team that's not just a football team. They've grown a lot of great chemistry. And I think that's, of course, very important with the football team, that you have to be able to connect and not just be one on the field, but have to be one outside of the field. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, and you mentioned, we talked about Trey Amos. His strength is man coverage. That's the reason that he's been brought up. He's graded highly. Nick Saban recruited him to play cornerback at Alabama. That should tell you all you need to know about Trey Amos. Trey Harris is a man coverage guy. He is number one against press man in all of college football. So last season, a lot of people might not know about this. Ole Miss ran basically a little bit of like Tampa 2 sink coverage defense. They ran some cloud coverage stuff. It was predominantly a zone defense team, and Georgia and LSU and those other teams kind of took advantage of Ole Miss not being able to match up. So you get a Trey Amos, you get a Moriam Walker, you get a Chris Grave. Brandon Turnage is playing ball this spring. He's balling out a little bit. I think that this defense is going to look a little bit different than it did a year ago, and look more like the Alabama stuff than what Ole Miss did a year ago.
I agree, man. I think that Pete kind of got a good testament of what needed to be changed after the Peach Bowl. Maybe some different things were even in that game that kind of proved a different element to him. I think, we got a chance to get Wes Neighbors last year, and I can't remember our new secondary coach, but I think he's coming from Cincinnati, if I'm incorrect.
That's Brian Brown, Ole Miss legend, Brian Brown.
And so he is going to bring a different dynamic too. I think exactly what you said. I think Pete and Lane sat down and understood what were some of the pros and cons from our defense last year, and maybe how to even change and mix up those defensive schemes that we saw last year to maybe bring some new things in and combine them pretty well. And guys like Trey Amos, who like I said, have a lot to prove. But I think Trey Owens, if you watch a lot of film of him, he just has a lot of heart. He's a dog out there in the field, and he likes to go out there and hurt people. And I think that's something that's needed on a football team, especially on the defensive side of the ball, that, we are out here to make you guys scared of us. And I think that's what he brings to this defense as well. And I'll say as well, I'm very excited just to see the different elements that type of defense we may see in this Grow Bowl and in the season that will allow different guys to kind of prosper more. When I say that, maybe we saw the engagement or the learning process of different players last year, but now maybe in a new system with new players, they're going to get an even better chance to get more time to do maybe what's best for them or do different things that may be better for them. So I think all that change is going to be well implemented. And I'm sure our coaching staff and our players are listening to one another, learning. The players are learning from the coaches in the respectable manner to take it and do what's necessary this season. Because I'm excited on so many different levels. I'm a defensive guy, and not just for football, but basketball, baseball. I love defense. Even soccer. Like I love defense. I played defense in soccer when I played in high school. Defense is my thing. So I always will say, and I know this is old and cliche, but defense wins championships, man. And I think that's what we brought Pete Golden in. I think he's done a great job, not only recruiting, but implementing what he believes works and changing things if needed. Because like, I talked about last week, Zach Arnett is here as an analyst. So he's going to be able to help things such as that nature as well, going into different weeks in the fall. So it's going to be fun, man. And just expect to see a lot of change, but also it may not look like change because our players may be so comfortable because our coaching staff has done such a great job. They're going to be very comfortable going out and implementing something this may be new this season.
Thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. When we come back, Daylan is going to talk me down and tell me what to make of this Grow Bowl games that's going to happen this weekend. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find the right quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn is a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals that makes it the best place to hire. It gives you access to professionals you can't find anywhere else. And they do all this while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring is always easy, though, when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats, they might not have the time or the resources to hire. It's no different than hiring a college football coach. You hire the right guy, he has you in the conversation for the playoff. If you hire the wrong guy, you're hiring another guy in 3 years. Well, the difference is, in the real world, you might be making this hire again in 3 weeks. 2.5 million small businesses using LinkedIn for hiring cannot be wrong. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day and have to turn down the volume with all of the streaming? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you each and every single day to bring you the biggest stories, all without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news and more. Streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. All right, Daylan. So let's go on. I need you to talk me down on this Grow Bowl games thing, because this is my thought, okay? In everything that happens, in every decision dealing with college football, the people that gets hurt the most are the fans. The fans are the one that football gets taken away from. The fans are the one that's all of a sudden stuff moves behind a paywall. The fans are the one that are being asked to pay for everything in college sports right now.
Yeah.
So would it not make sense for the Grove Collective to set up a scrimmage, a normal spring game? It doesn't matter that they show a bunch of stuff, but you play real football, you charge $10 for admission, you help the Grove Collective, and also the people that are contributing to the collective gets to see what they're paying for. That seems like an easy, simple fix to me.
I agree, because, and I go a lot of different elements with what you just said. I think it comes to a test of maybe we've got some people here for the first time that don't really know much about the program, don't know much about football, and they come in and they see what this new implement is going to be, and now they're, I wouldn't say completely lost, but they're going to have a lot of question marks on top of their head. And so I don't know why it was changed. I personally enjoyed it last year. I think it just gave a real game element. And now I say this maybe as well, if I'm not correct, they've been doing a lot of scrimmages already, and so maybe they don't want to risk it, but that still is the point of the Grove Bowl. I don't know, but I hate it because as well. I hate it, but I'm not totally. I don't know what I'm. Doesn't make sense, but I don't dislike it, but I don't like it as well because I think it's giving fans, like you just said, we as fans enough have to do so much just to sometimes be able to get to a game, so much cost. So when we get a chance for moments like this, we kind of just want to see what the totality of. We want to see all this Walter Nolan hype. We want to see what Walter Nolan's going to look like on the line of scrimmage. If you're going to move around, where you're going to play him at, what kind of gaps he's going to hit, is he going to fall back sometimes? What are we going to play him like? Now we're going to see that in an element, but only in 7-on-7. We're going to see him do different type of drills, which is cool to an extent. But I think we are so excited. And even last year, I was so excited just to see the amount of talent that we have last year. And I think this year it's almost probably one of the best talent rosters we've had in a long time, probably since last year, I guess. But even before then, we keep saying that every year. But that's just what this coaching staff is doing, bringing more and more talent. We want to see that in real time action, and because it gets us excited for in a few months what we have to see in store. So maybe I see, Chris Paul Jr. and Santander Perkins do something well, or maybe I see Pete call something out well and they do it well in the practice. And I'm like, maybe I need to keep that in mind for the season. And the season comes and I'm like, I remember that. But now I don't know if we're going to get the full totality of that. I don't know what the change is for. Maybe just, I don't know, to kind of maybe
probably injuries, transfer portal.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I was going to say that too.
Right. Yeah. Right now, coaches, and it's nothing against Lane Kiffin, but he makes $9 million a year.
Yeah.
You should have to deal with the roster problems that come up because, in my opinion, a spring game is for the fans, and taking that away from the fans for something that is the equivalent of elementary school field day is going to be looked down on some people, and probably going to have less attendance than you could have had, because there was a chance if Ole Miss would have just played a scrimmage just like last year, the same thing, to where it's simple stuff, and charged $10 admission with every dollar going to the Grove Collective, Ole Miss could have raised $300,000 this weekend.
I agree. And I'll say this as well, kind of a point that I was trying to make earlier. Some fans, unfortunately, this world of college football and even sports in general, it may not be able to afford to come to Oxford or go to away games for travel and transportation. So maybe this is their chance to kind of be in the vault for the first time in a while, be in town and see the team in full pledge. And now maybe that plan has maybe had to unfortunately change for them now because of the changes. I don't know if it's also something that maybe they're going to try to do forever. Maybe they're just trying to test run something. I don't know. I will say that I would really have liked just regular spring practice this year because we have so much talent that I'm excited that came back from last year's squad. And then, of course, all the new talent this year. I just wanted to see everything kind of mesh together. I would love to see how Walker and Austin are doing in full game mentality. So I think that would have just been fun. Hopefully that we still maybe get a chance to see that a little bit. But I doubt it with the way the system has come out, because I know all the news hasn't come out yet. But I doubt that they're gonna go full out scrimmage with us out there Saturday.
Yeah, the nature of my job is, I'll watch all of it and I'll get 10 takes from that game that really you can't take a take from, but I have to do it because I have to 4 months worth of content that I have to have. So we'll see what happens. My whole thing is I want to protect the fans. I want to be the voice of the fans. I do not care necessarily about administrators and things like that. The fans are just getting royally screwed right now, just consistently in college sports.
I do have to agree, man. And that's just a tie to a lot of other things as well. But I can say that about where I'm at right now, man, just sometimes the people that are already distributing and trying to help benefit this football team, sometimes we kind of get thrown in the rear view mirror. And so I'm not going to go too far on that, but I definitely agree with you, man. It's just, it's a frustrating time. It can be a lot sometimes.
Yeah, and this weird thing that is happening in all college programs. This is not me like judging any particular one, but all college programs, there's an us versus them mentality that has been developed, and you see them closing down practices, and it is literally. I make the comment all the time. It's like shut up and give.
Yeah,
and you can't do that. You're going to right now. It might be fine. In 10 years, it's going to be less. In 10 years, it's going to be less. And you're going to look up in 40 years and you're playing intramurals.
Yeah, I'm not too big on the social media thing. I'm there, but I try not to do too much of my opinions and stuff on there. But we could tie this. I could tie this real quick to this may not be exactly why, but Eric Musselman wanted to leave Arkansas now he's at USC, and then maybe you say the same thing about why John Calipari was like, maybe I think I need to get out of Kentucky. And now he's going to Arkansas. So
Calipari absolutely beat the posse out of town.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a testament to a lot of different things, and I 100% agree with what you're saying. So we'll see where we go in the near future with it, because like I said earlier, I hope that it's not a permanent thing. I hope this is just maybe they're trying to test run something out because of different squad injuries, or just still trying to get adjusted to this spring portal now and blah blah blah. So I don't know, but hopefully it's not a permanent thing, and if it is, they make more adjustments to it over the years.
Yeah, hopefully it's about injuries, and if the transfer portal is causing this, Ole Miss is the only school, to my knowledge, that's doing anything like this year.
Me too.
And if everybody else is doing something, you're not getting an advantage by not doing it. The only people, like I said, the only people that's getting screwed are the people that get to see 12 or 13 football games a year, look forward to them.
Yeah.
And you take that away. It's, it's a hard look.
I agree, man. Like I'll make this quick. Someone last year asked me, I was like, I go to Ole Miss, and it's like, so why do you guys tailgate for so long, for like 7 a.m. until like after the games? And I'm like, you get maybe 6-7 of these a year, and so we're going to do our best to enjoy each one that we get, because we don't get a lot of them every year. So I 100% agree, man. Like we don't.
It's like going to Disney World. You're going to get there when rope drops, and you're going to stay until it closed because it costs $200 a ticket to get in.
Yeah, this football thing is, we love it, and we do so much for it, but it's a short time span. That's why we kind of devote so much into it as well. But with the times that we get like this time, that we kind of wish we don't have to worry so much about traffic and travel and all this compactment like we do on game days, is a little bit more relaxed. But now we get this, and it's like, I don't know how to take it. So I agree with you, man.
All right, let's change the subject a little bit to something a little bit less happy in the baseball team. Baseball has, just real quick, we're not going to spend much time on it. This is a must-sweep weekend for Ole Miss against the team that they have not beaten in a series in Oxford since like 2015.
Yeah. It's going to be a good one. We're just going to have to fight like dogs. Excuse me. I think we went to Fayetteville, and we did a lot better than I thought we were going to be. I know we got
they played well. They just ran into a good team.
I saw more of a team effort this past weekend in Fayetteville. I saw just a little bit more energy and kind of confidence in the boys, and just able to see the ball a little bit better, and even fielding better. I thought we did well. I think the pitch, it looked a lot better against the number one team in the country than I thought it was going to be. And it's going to have to be the same, man. I said a few weeks ago, I hope our fan base here at Oxford doesn't change just due to the fact of what we're seeing right now. So if we can just go out there and support the boys to our best of our abilities, because they're going to need it this week. It's a big week for us, and you don't never want to lose a state in any sport. So let's hope for the best.
Thanks again for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. Tomorrow on the Locked On Ole Miss podcast, in the morning show, the Blue Label show, we talk about Daylan Hayden, Aaron Hayden's son, who's transferring from Ohio State. We talked about him and how him and maybe Henry Parrish, there might be something cooking down at Ole Miss. We talk about this Grow Bowl stuff again because it's a conversation piece. It just is. And we talked about Talib Graham committing. We played his highlights so you can get a good look at him. It's kind of a get you know you session. Anyway, Daylan, thank you very much for popping on the show today, and we'll talk to you next week, man.
Anytime, man. Appreciate you as always. Take care.